the chi-squared distribution. The chi-squared distribution is skewed right. Like the t distribution, the larger the degrees of freedom, the closer the chi-squared distribution comes to the normal distribution. Our first graph has a degrees of freedom of 5, and you can easily see the skew. When we get to a degrees of freedom of 10, the skew is much less, and by degrees of freedom 19, the chi-squared distribution looks much more like the normal standard distribution. Basic properties of chi-squared curves. The symbol for chi is a fancy X, and then it has the 2 for square. Property 1, the total area under the chi-square curve equals 1. Property 2, a chi-square curve starts at 0 on the horizontal axis and extends indefinitely to the right, approaching but never touching the horizontal axis. Property 3, a chi-square curve is right skewed. Property 4, as the number of degrees of freedom becomes larger, chi-square curves look increasingly like normal curves. Example. For a chi-square curve with 22 degrees of freedom, find the chi-squared value that has area of 0.05 to its right. This is a sketch of what that's going to look like. Our area alpha is to the right of the value for chi-squared. In this case, alpha is 0.05, our degrees of freedom are 22. So going to our table, for the table, the chi-square distribution has the information for alpha to the right of the chi-square value. So we want to find the column that has chi-square sub 0.05, and then we want to find the degrees of freedom 22. And where that crosses is our value for chi-squared. Here it's 33.924. The chi-squared value is 33.924. Example. For a chi-squared curve with 18 degrees of freedom, find the chi-squared value that has area 0.9 to its left. Our basic chi-squared curve, our area alpha, is to the right of the value for chi-squared. So for the information on our table, our alpha is always to the right of the chi-squared value. In this case, we want 0.90 area to the left of our chi-squared value. Our chi-squared graph has a total of 1, so 1 minus 0.9 is 0.1. So alpha is 0.10. Going to our table, our degrees of freedom are 18, and we want an area of 0.10. This gives us 25.989. The chi-squared value is 25.989. Example, for a chi-squared curve with 20 degrees of freedom, find chi-squared sub 0.10. We have our chi-squared graph with alpha to the right of our chi-squared value. That is chi-squared sub 0.10. So we need to go to our table. For 20 degrees of freedom, we want the column chi-squared sub 0.10, and that's 28.412. The chi-squared value is 28.412. To recap the section, the chi-squared distribution. Basic properties of chi-squared curves. Chi-squared curves are right skewed. They start at 0 and continue to the right but never cross the horizontal axis, and the total area under the chi-squared distribution equals 1.